Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am finally announcing the theme for March in my themed Letterboxd 4 series, now that we're halfway through the month, but finally announcing that theme, which is sports. And if you're new to this series, I've created a playlist that has all of the previous episodes in the series in it. But if you're new and you just want a quick little rundown, basically all this is for this year, each month, I'm doing a different theme. It could be a genre, or it could be just kind of like an overall idea. Like, for example, January was just Best Picture winners, February was Black History Month. So just a different theme for each month, and then within that month, I will give you what my Letterboxd 4 is for that specific theme. Now, how the series works is there's two different videos. There's kind of a results video that I do at the end of the month, and then there's this video, which is the preview, or kind of like the setup for what that month's theme is. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about 10 different films that I'm going to watch over this month, starting off with what my current Letterboxd 4 is, and then I'm going to give you 3 contenders, films that I have seen that maybe on a rewatch, maybe I'm going to like them a little bit more and they can crack into the Letterboxd 4, and then 3 films that I haven't even seen. And so those are the minimum 10 films that I'm going to watch in this specific category during the month, but then the goal is to obviously watch more than that. I broke like 20 plus the last couple videos, so the goal is to watch as many for this month's case, as many sports films as I can this month to really kind of determine what my true Letterboxd 4 is. And obviously I chose sports this month because of March Madness. If you're a big sports fan, you know March is one of the best months of the year for sports, and so I'm really just in the mood for not just basketball, but just like all sorts of sports. And so that's why I decided to do that for this month, to do sports as the theme. And honestly, within probably about an hour or so, maybe from when I get this uploaded, it's when the March Madness brackets are going to be revealed. So it is just a great time to be a sports fan, and so I'm just really in the mood to watch as many sports films as I can. And so the first thing we need to do is we need to establish the rules. The rules for this category is pretty simple. A film is eligible if the sport is the main focus of the film. So a film like Uncut Gems that's more about gambling as opposed to basketball is not eligible, and the sport has to be the main focus for the entirety of the film. So movies like Catwoman and Twilight aren't eligible, even if they have some of the most iconic sports moments. And now we have to talk about the exclusions. Again, another reminder that every film is only eligible to be in one themed Letterboxd 4, because I'm trying to get as many different films mentioned as I can. You know, by the end of this, I want it to be 48 different films that are honored. So that means Love and Basketball is excluded because it was in last month for Black History Month's video. And then we've got to start off by talking about my current Letterboxd 4, Challengers, Tennis, Dodgeball, A True Underdog Story, Dodgeball, The Iron Claw, Wrestling, and Moneyball, Baseball. Now, if you've seen any videos on my channel or you know anything about me, I think you maybe could have figured that Moneyball and Challengers were both going to be in here. Moneyball, obviously, because it's in my actual Letterboxd 4, and Challengers because if you've seen like my alternate reality Oscar nomination video I did, clearly I love Challengers a whole lot, giving it a whole ton of awards and nominations. So I think those two were pretty obvious that they were going to be in here. The Iron Claw is one that also, I mean, it was in last year's alternate reality Oscar nomination video, and I think it led nominations in that video too. So I think those were kind of the obvious. I think Dodgeball is maybe the one that you might kind of find a little weird, and seems like it's the polar bear in Arlington, Texas here in this video. But Dodgeball is one of those that for me is just, it's a movie that, like, one of my all-time favorite, just like as a kid, like that was just the funniest movie I had ever seen in my life. And it's one of those that I think your love of Dodgeball might kind of come from when you first saw it. You know, I think you're gonna like it a little bit more if you were the younger you were when you saw it. And obviously, I just one of those. Every time I watch it, it's so insanely quotable. It's so insanely funny that I just have very fond memories and good feelings about Dodgeball as a film in particular. So that's why, as kind of maybe as a surprise, that's why it is currently in the Letterboxd 4. The next group of films we're going to talk about are the 3 contenders: 42, Baseball, I, Tonya, Ice Skating, and Million Dollar Baby, Boxing. And Million Dollar Baby is a film that I've talked about multiple times on this channel. It was in the January the Best Picture themed video. It was one of the ones that was pretty close to putting into that theme, so I think there's maybe a chance it has a decent shot at cracking in here for this theme. 42 is another film that I've talked about before on the channel because I think I've talked about it. Maybe I haven't. But, you know, it's just obviously, as you see, you know, I'm a big Dodgers fan, and so I'm just very, just a big baseball fan in general. I think even if you don't like the Dodgers, just being a big baseball fan in general, 42 is a very inspiring and a great sports film about a great, sports hero in Jackie Robinson. So I think a lot of people, really like that film. And then I, Tonya is one that I definitely haven't talked about at all before on this channel because I've only seen I, Tonya a couple times. I think I saw it once in theaters, and then maybe I saw it once, like I rented it or something on Redbox or something, like a couple months later. But it's been years since I've seen I, Tonya, so I'm really excited to give that one another watch because I think I remember really liking it at the time. I think I might like it more now on a rewatch just because of again, my love for the director has had multiple films that I've seen of his since like Cruella and things that he's done that I've kind of really been a fan of. Obviously Margot Robbie, big fan. Sebastian Stan, big fan. Allison Janney, big fan. Like I just think that I, Tonya is a film that I think I'll love more on a second watch. So I'm really excited. That's the one I'm really kind of keeping my eye on for potentially cracking into the Letterboxd for. And then the last category is 3 films that I haven't seen: Caddyshack, Golf; Miracle, Hockey; and Raging Bull, Boxing. And I think Raging Bull is the one that I didn't even necessarily think of it much as like, because I know very little about it other than it's being a Martin Scorsese film and with Robert De Niro. It's one of those that like I don't know if I would have even connected it with it being a sports film until I had kind of like looked up lists. I was trying to find the best sports movies that I haven't seen to make sure I'm making sure I'm seeing a good variety of things, and that came up, and it instantly was one of those I was like, oh, obviously that's going to have a spot because of just the good things I've heard about it being a Martin Scorsese film. I believe in like last year's videos when I was doing a lot my Oscar videos, when I was doing anything talking about Killers of the Flower Moon, and I was talking about Martin Scorsese previous nominations and Robert De Niro previous nominations. Raging Bull kept coming up a ton, so it's one that I'm like super excited. So that was a lock. Caddyshack is one that's like it just kind of popped into my head. It's kind of it's fun, like kind of in the same vein as like Dodgeball, I guess, of it kind of being more like a comedy, but like a comedy around a sport. Just felt like an obvious one that I've heard so much great things about. I had to see it. And then Miracle is one that I haven't. I guess I know a little bit about, but I haven't seen it. I don't know too much about. I believe it's about the Miracle on Ice, the big that big hockey game from all those years ago in the Olympics. Again, I don't know a whole ton about it, but I know that it's a great film. I know a lot of people really love it, so it's one that like with Caddyshack, I didn't even have to like look up any sort of lists of like best films ever. Like I just knew that those two would be two that I was most excited to watch this month. And so those are the 10 films that I'm absolutely going to watch this month and kind of make my decision off of the Letterboxd for what's going to come from those. But again, just a reminder, I'm going to watch as many other films as I can. Like I said earlier, in the last 2 months videos, I think I got over 20 plus movies in each category for those 2 videos. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to watch as much as I can, but these are just the guaranteed 10 that I will for sure watch. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know down below in the comments what sports movies you would recommend, what some of your favorite sports movies of all time are. Again, because I said I'm going to watch so many, I will, if you put anything in the comments, like any suggestions, I will do my best to make sure that I am including those in the month as well, making sure I'm giving a shot for those. And I just, because this is the fun part about this, is just the recommendations, because I can think of the films that I've heard great things about or I've always wanted to see, but it's every time that there's something like a suggestion from a friend or a suggestion from someone. For example, in the Best Picture video, or Best Picture winners video in January, I put The Apartment as one of the films I was going to see, and that wasn't even my thing. Like, I didn't want to watch The Apartment, but it was just a buddy that recommended it as one of his favorite Best Picture winners of all time. And so I watched it, I loved it, and it cracked my Letterboxd 4. So I really like that idea of people just giving me suggestions, because it's going to help me find films that I maybe just overlooking or just kind of had a blind spot and just kind of overlooked and didn't think of. So for sure, just let me know your suggestions down below in the comments, and I'm going to do my best to get to as many of those as I can. And if you would like to like this video and then subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos in this series, I would greatly appreciate it, and have a great day.